Yeah, I feel like I join the choir. Shit, I should go to church. Amen. Praise the Lord. Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. I think I'ma join the choir. Cause we was sinning, we was hanging in the field. We had Glocks with extensions, it was wicked and tricky, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. I think that I'ma join the choir. Cause we was sinning, we was hanging in the field. We had Glocks with extensions, man, that shit got real wicked and tricky, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. I think that I'ma join the choir. What you know about losing your best friend, or losing your best man, losing your blood brother from a senses, wishing you can free him again. All the real niggas put y'all hands in the air for the real niggas y'all can lost. All the real niggas chuck y'all gang in the air for all the bitch niggas y'all done taught. Man, this shit got real crazy, feel like we losing niggas on the daily. All I had tears in my eyes, anger said somebody need to die. I was trying to get some get back, they killed my homie of a bitch, nigga, I be down, won't get my get back. Let's crack a look at me wrong, that boy about to get his shit pushed back. I think I'ma join the choir. Cause we was sinning, we was hanging in the field. We had Glocks with extensions, it was wicked and tricky, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. I think that I'ma join the choir. Cause we was sinning, we was hanging in the field. We had Glocks with extensions, man, that shit got real wicked and tricky, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. Oh, we was sinning, yeah. I think that I'ma join the choir.
What is your plan B if nobody marries you?
Who told y'all that was plan A? Why do you still believe the sham of the nuclear family? Why are black men so invested in capitalistic white supremacist tropes that do not serve them? My plan A, because fuck marriage, is to live in community with other black women and raise our children together in a matriarchal village to be safe from men like you.
Okay, the Pookie and Ray Ray theory and why the women like them so much is because they're used to seeing him. Keep in mind, Pookie and Ray Ray is their little brother. You don't notice that they boyfriends mirror their little brothers? Like, for instance, you got some, you ever met that girl, you go over her house, it's 12 in the afternoon, and the little baby still running around with a shitty diaper on. She the type of woman who don't change the diapers until it's time to leave, right? So when you got a little girl growing up, seeing that type of little nigga walking around, no shirt on. Seen that before, right? Niggas walking around with no shirts, pants sagging. Well, the reason why they sag because their mama never changed their diapers that much. So subconsciously, they used to having something dripping off their waist. That's why when they put on a pair of pants, the first thing he do is sag them. Now, his sister has been witnessing his mother go to bat for him all her life. Even though he ain't shit, she seen her mother bless him. You know, anything wrong, he do bad at school, her mother go up there and cuss the teachers out, not him. So baby girl watching this, she's watching this little nigga actually be held to no accountability because mama gonna step up and bless him anyway. Mama still buy him new clothes. Mama don't chastise him. Mama pretty much let him do what the hell he want to do. And he walks around 80% of the day with a shitty or pissy diaper on with no shirt. Now you see why you see them boys walking around, no shirt, saggy pants, because in their minds, they still toddlers. The girls like these type of dudes because this is what they used to seeing. That's all she been seeing since she was a little girl. She never seen mama go to bat for a real nigga. The one brother that is doing well, she seen mama dog him. Yeah, she seen mama deny him books for school only to put money on books in prison for the little nigga that's going wayward. You see, so Pookie and Ray Ray, the mothers created them through their sons, and their daughters only can identify with this type of man. pants sagging. Yo, baby, what up, though? I'm lit. They can't identify with a man who know how to spell. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Too Much Moxie podcast. I am your humble host, Too Much. And I got with me today, coming from the back to the front, we got some people on the panel with us today. We got the big Walter Downing. And we got with us also the one and only Jesse Calligraphy Jones. Coming up on the panel today, we got some discussions. We got some things to talk about, right? The title of today's show is Why Are Black Men Labeled Bad Fathers? We got to talk about this, man. I got a group of experts here on the panel to help me discuss this current conundrum that we're in right now. And let's get into it, man. Let's get started with the co-host. What's going on with you, Big Walt?
Man, another day. I'm gonna hop on the cam in a minute. I'm just doing some adulting real quick.
Yep.
For my daughter, but yeah, it's crazy, man. Like they're preparing society to be manless off of their choices, and it sucks. And we're facing a bad rap, but honestly, they're doing the same technique. I see that lady in the video talked about white supremacy of having a nuclear family, right? But the real white supremacy is the technique that they're using on trying to single out the loser and making the loser represent everybody. You see it done in the news all the time, right? When they want a black person to look a certain way, that the news people or the media or whoever will go and find the most ridiculous, illogical person and say, hey, this is the person that represents you guys. So women are doing the same thing right now. Not all women, modern women are doing the same thing right now. And it's terrible.
Yeah, amen. I agree. And we got with us Jesse Calligraphy Jones, man. What do you think about black fathers and, the stigma that the black fathers have on them right now that obviously have been put on them by our own women, by modern black women?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me back. I love the opportunity to speak about this especially. I would have to say it goes back all the way to, I would have to say when women became, I would have to say, more independent, to where you had the government giving this, giving that. As long as the man is kept out, you can have the world. You bring the man in, that's when we have to take things away from you. You get no welfare, you get no county, you get none of this. So therefore, the man is frowned upon. And if he's frowned upon by the women, imagine what he's told from those women behind closed doors, by what the kids are told behind closed doors about those men. So our expectations are very, very low, very, very low, to where we're actually looked over, to where that woman is man and woman. That's what I say, and I would love to get more into that later.
Okay, perfect, man. Man, we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna do something different, man. I'm experimenting with videos and things like that, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a video that I created. It was, instead of me doing my whole monologue spiel, I think this is probably a more effective way to do the monologue. I don't know, it may or may not change, but let's jump into the monologue real quick, and then we'll get back into the show.
There's an age-old saying that has been at the center of many conversations and arguments: stereotypes make for easy decisions. It is often used as a retort in response to social ignorance or prejudice. But how far should stereotypes go before they should be labeled just that, stereotypes? Studies show that African American fathers spend more time with their children compared to any other race. So why do they still get labeled and no one complains about it? Stereotypes do make for easy decisions. They allow us to compartmentalize people and ideas into categories that are easier to understand, but at what cost? Stereotypes aren't always true, especially when it comes to black fathers. The stereotype of the absent black father is a myth, but our society continues to perpetuate it every time we allow it. The truth is that African American fathers are more involved in their children's lives than any other race. A study by the National Fatherhood Initiative found that 70% of African American fathers read to their children at least 3 times a week, compared with 60% of white fathers who did so. Another study by the Pew Research Center found that black fathers spend more hours per week with their children than any other race. Yet, we continue to use stereotypes like deadbeat dads and missing in action as reasons why African American men are not fit for fatherhood. My hope is that this blog encourages black women to rethink the stigma attached to black fathers who are labeled bad dads by people who don't know them. I believe we all can change our perspective of someone once we are able to see their positive attributes. For every negative attribute you have, there is also a positive. I encourage women who have been hurt by men to open your heart to other men and let him try and show you what he's got inside of him. Show the father that his child deserves his attention and that you want to partner up with him in raising their child.
All right, man. What y'all think of the video, man? What y'all think of the video? Are we on to something right now?
You know what? I would have to say I love that video. It's sort of like we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. If they look at us to where the black father is spending more time, but if you ask someone, they would say, "Oh, that's because he doesn't have a job." You know what I mean?
They're actually saying that?
Of course. That's why because you got to think about the roles now. The roles of the black man and the roles of the black woman. A lot of the black women are in these higher up positions, right? Or either they're getting their degrees in school. You know, more power to them. I take my hat off to them. They definitely deserve it. But a lot of the times you have that man is now in the opposite position. So this man he's the one at home doing the dishes, taking the trash out. He's raising the kids. And now the woman is out working, you know? So you have the man calling the woman saying, "Hey honey, when you get here, food is ready." And the roles have totally switched for a lot of men and a lot of women. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing.
So let me get this straight. What you're saying is the reason why men are able to be home with their children and spend more time, black men are spending more time with their children because they don't have a job?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm getting at is that is the rumor. That is the rumor. When it comes down to whenever I argue that we are greater than what people expect, and that we are greater than what people see. That's what I'm always told. I'm always told that, okay, yeah, I understand. You know, if you're a stay-at-home father, then of course you got more time. And it's not necessarily that. It's in between time. It's just like, hey, I'm off work. Let me do this with my son. Let me do this with my daughter. You know, let me go to the sports events. Let me go ahead. Let me help them with homework and everything. That's not the way we're pictured. That's not the way we're painted. Just like a while back, we were talking about the black exploitation films, and Walter put it out there to where the way we're looked at is pimps and gangsters and this and that, and you don't see kids. You know, you're not going to see a pimp with kids. You're not going to see a gangster with his kids around. None of that. So the way we're looked at is really injuring our community. And the rumors that we receive is really injuring our community because everyone is looking down upon us as if we're not the same as them, and our attributions aren't the same as what they attribute to their family. And it's not so. I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe that for nothing in the world. You know, we are as great as fathers as any other race, man. But the stigma that latches on to us really attacks you know what we stand for. You know, what do you think about the video with the guy saying the reason why women are attracted to Pookie and Ray Ray is because that's all they've seen? I have to, for a lot of women, I would have to say so. And not necessarily the the sagging being for that reason, because we both know the
You
background
know what?
of the
Yeah, you
sagging.
know where the
We
sagging comes from.
Yeah, we
You
know
know
where
where
the
the
sagging
sagging
comes
comes
from. So not necessarily that, but if that's what they see, if that's what mom had, that's what was all around them, and that's what they looked at as a man. They didn't see a button up man, a man with a button up and pants up, shirt and pants, and hey honey, I'm off to work. They didn't see that every day. That's like fairy tale to us. To a lot of us, that's like fairy tale. We see that only on movies, but in real life, reality, when you wake up, the guy that you see is a lot of times selling drugs, or a lot of times doing this, or if he does have a job,
they
he has.
just because black community, what people don't understand is black
Hmm.
communities. We
Hmm.
don't have wealthy black communities.
No, no, not
Our
really. We
communities
we have
are the
some.
ghetto. We have
Yes, true,
some,
true. We have
but
some. Yeah,
most of our communities are the ghetto, are the
true,
hoods, right?
true.
Are the street
Yep,
corners, are the liquor stores, right?
I agree.
Those are our surroundings and where we live. So our role models are not going to be upstanding. It's not going to be the guy going to college.
No, that's not our heroes.
It's
That
gonna be
that
the
should be
guy
our
standing on
heroes.
the. It's gonna yeah, it should be.
Yep,
It's gonna be the
yep,
guy standing on the corner.
yep.
It's gonna be the guy, the man figure that we see every day.
Yep,
If especially because we don't have a father in the home,
yep,
is the gangster, is the
yep.
drug dealer, is the pimp, is the hustler, right? Is the player, is
Hmm.
the Mac, right?
And yeah, and you're right. And when we psych ourselves out and we say, "Nah, that's not so," let me turn on the TV. What do you see on the TV?
Then we
What do
got the
you see in
media.
the newspaper?
Then we
You
got
got the media too.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Then we
show
got
you
the
who you
media
are. Turn on TV on. I'm gonna show you who
painting
you are and
a
who you will be.
picture
Of course,
of black men. So Walter,
of
man,
course.
why are black men labeled bad fathers, man?
Well, I'll put it this way: whenever you see a war, right, or in the past in history, right, when when one country or one nation or one faction or whatever would take over the other side, right? What's the first thing that they would do when they won? Does anybody know the answer to that?
Oh,
The
say that
first
one
thing,
more time. Restate that again.
Okay, in a war, or when you look at ancient times or ancient wars, not current wars, but
Mhm.
ancient wars, when one faction would take over another faction, or one nation would defeat another nation, what would be the one of the first things that they would do once they face
Oh,
victory?
they're getting rid of the
kill off,
men.
kill
They're
off all the
getting rid
men.
of the
Yep,
men. They're getting
kill
rid
Right.
of
off
the
all the men.
men and the
Yep,
boys.
So
Yeah.
yep.
this isn't a new concept. They would kill all the men, and they would
Hmm.
say, "Let's take all the women and children." Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the same people think it's outdated just because it's not happening physically in this day, but
Hmm.
it is happening. It's just not happening physically and directly. What they're
Yep.
doing is now we can't kill men directly, so we need to take them out of the house. We need to make them look like they're not needed, make them look like they're not wanted, have them have a certain image to where they're so minuscule they might as well be dead, right? And that's what powers that be are doing. And so then that way, to the victor goes the spoils. To the victor
True.
goes the women and the children. And
True.
where is our society being affected at right now? Is our women and our children. And who's being separated from being able to have any power to do that is our men. That's what's going on.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's a very good interesting point that you made there, Walter. That you have to look at it like we're at war. And if we really look at it, we are in a war. We're in a war of attrition, right?
Right.
They're trying to take our numbers down. So they have to label us they have to invoke the mark of Cain and put it on all black skin, dark skins backs. What is the mark of Cain? Right? What is the mark of Cain? Y'all remember that story about Cain and Abel? Cain slew his brother.
Yeah.
And one of his punishments is that everywhere he goes, people are going to try to kill him.
Oh yeah.
So
he's always going to be on the grind.
That's actually a tactic, right? If I put a target on your back, then I don't necessarily have to kill you. I don't have to take you out.
Right.
If I put a target on all these black men's back, their own people and their own women will do it for us.
Yeah, the black man is vilified. It's kind of like those movies to where you think one person is the villain, and then later on you find out that that person isn't the villain. That person's actually the person trying to help, but everybody else villainized that person. And honestly, like the reason why you hardly see certain women do things like come on discussions or come on this show or whatever show, and or even on platform discussions on social media is because like too many people are indoctrinated and they know their logic doesn't make sense. And so what they try to do, they try to keep from that logic being confronted. Because if you notice, like a lot of these people who, like that lady that made that video that you just played, right? Try to see if she's going to be on anything that's going to challenge her, you know, like an Andrew Tate or Too Much Moxie. She's not, because it's psychology. When you isolate a mind in one thought without anything to challenge it, then then that's how control happens. Because I'll put it this way: what if I told you all cars are bad? What would you tell me?
Yeah, right.
All cars aren't bad, right?
All cars
but
aren't
then
bad, right?
if you go look at the car,
the car is a machine. How can the machine be bad? It doesn't have a feeling. It can't. You know, that's what I would say. You know, it's a machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Machines can only do what you program it to do.
Yeah, and how you drive and whatnot, right? And then you'll go look at the car that I have, and you'll be like, wait a minute. I see that you're saying all cars are bad because look at the car you chose. The car you chose, did you know if you look it up on the internet, the car you chose is a lemon? Did you do your research on this car? Or did you just buy this car because it looked good on the commercial and everybody wanted to get this car and blah, blah, blah. So now you're saying all cars are bad because of your experiences with this car. Or maybe it wasn't even a lemon. Maybe this car was good, right? But I actually go to your house. Wait, when's the last time you changed the oil on this car?
No maintenance.
When's the last time you did a car wash on this car?
But there was no maintenance.
No maintenance, right?
You had you a good brother, but you didn't give him proper maintenance. You didn't do what you're supposed to do.
Right. So that's the condition that that they're trying to put men in, is from their lack of accountability or their lack of taste and choice. And now this represents men. Men are like this. So since men are like this, now we got to do the nonsense that the lady is proposing in the video.
Okay. So let me propose this, right? Would you say, and this is for Jesse as well, I don't know if Jesse's back yet, Black men are considered bad fathers because they do not marry their child's mother? What would you say to that? Black men are considered bad fathers because they do not marry their child's mother. Why aren't Black fathers marrying their child's mother?
I'll let y'all go first because I just rambled on the last one.
You with us there, Jesse? Or are you still gone? Okay, I think he's still out. He'll probably text when he gets back in. Let me say this. I'll go. I'll go because you did kind of go. I'll go. Black men are labeled bad fathers, right? Because they don't marry their child's mother. Most of the time, this is happening because children are not being planned. Children are not being born out of love. They're being birthed out of lust. Also, you have men, especially in the Black community, you have teenagers having sex. You have kids having sex. So you have a lot of teenage mothers, teenage fathers, right? And back in the day, if you got a girl pregnant, we already know what the trope was. That woman's going to try to pressure you for marriage. That woman and her family was going to try to pressure that man into taking care of responsibility and marrying that woman. That's not so today. We're not pressuring our kids to to marry. We're not saying, oh, you got her pregnant, now you got to get her married. We're saying, oh, you got her pregnant, now we got to get you on child support. Now we got to get you, just taking care of a child that may or may not be yours, because we don't know if the woman wasn't sleeping around. Right? So a lot of Black men are getting this stigma that they're bad fathers because they are, for the most part, absentee fathers. Now, I'm not saying all men are absentee fathers. I'm not saying all men are just randomly leaving women that they get pregnant, because we know that's not true. I know a lot. I have a lot of anecdotal evidence that men are not leaving. Men are actually trying to be, but it's actually the woman who's making it very difficult for the man to stick around. But these same women who are making it difficult for the man to stick around are saying, where's the man at? The very same women who are kicking the man out is asking the question, saying, where are the men? Why isn't the man taking care of my child? Those same women are collecting child support and living off of government wages, and they're harming the man, blaming the man, forcing him, ousting him about the house, making him her slave, trying to make that man her slave, or her spouse, right? Because she might be in her masculine, right? Even like what Jesse was saying, you have men who are at home because supposedly the women are doing better, right? So these men are at home asking the wife for money or the girlfriend for money, right? They're at home, right? Preparing meals, right? For the woman who's coming home because she's the breadwinner, right? So men are getting these bad stigmas that they're bad fathers because they're choosing not to live in the same home as the woman and the child, but to be separate because they did not want to marry this woman. This woman was only a woman they wanted to sleep with. This was not a woman that they saw fit that they were wanted to marry. If there had been a woman that they wanted to marry, right? If there had been a woman they wanted to marry, they would have married him. Now, let me ask this same question to Calligraphy Jones here. Men are considered bad fathers because they're not in the home, because they will not marry the woman. What do you say about that? Is that a fair assessment to say why women are putting this stigma on men, saying they're not good fathers? Because these same men who make these babies turn around and they do not want to marry that woman.
Well, that I would say that's a partially fair way to assess it. What do you label the men that are married, and why are the men that are married labeled bad fathers then? How would
Good
that?
question.
How would you go about answering that? So a lot of times that is the scenario.
Very good. Very good.
Um,
Hey, say that again, though. Say that
Very
again,
good.
'cause-
That was very good.
I would have to
That was a
say
very
a lot
clever
of
comeback for that. That's a very clever
yeah,
comeback for
a
that.
lot of men that are a lot of men that are married are still considered bad fathers. You know, there was a song that
But
said
they're considered bad fathers only because they won't marry the baby mama. You understand?
because they won't marry the baby mother,
They're considered bad fathers because they do not want to
want to
they
marry.
do not want to raise a child with this woman, but they have to. They're
Yes,
considered
they
bad
have to.
fathers because they don't want to be in the bullshit that they're getting put through, right? These women are running these
They
men
have to.
through
Yeah,
hoops, and they don't
you're
want to
right. But
run through hoops to see their child.
at the same time, at the same token, you have men that do marry. They do marry the woman that they have pregnant, that they impregnated, and yet they're still considered bad fathers. There was an old song, and the song went, "I can't be in two places at one time," right? Meaning, I can't work and be home. I can't be home and work. I can't be in two places. A lot of times, the woman wants you. They want you home when you have to work. That's why
Mm,
a lot of men are stressed out because they can't do this and they can't do that. They can't do overtime because if they do overtime, then they're considered cheating. They may be looked at as if they're cheating. It depends on the insecurity, and it goes back. It goes both ways between woman and man. But if you do marry and if you do stay together with someone, you have your security level has to be high. It has to be high. You have to have that trust. You have to have trust, loyalty, love, respect, and so on. But if you lack that, then you pretty much lack everything. And that's when you are considered, because if you're considered a bad man or a bad husband, oh man, of course, you're considered a bad father too. Automatically. That's automatic. There's no one gonna say, oh, he is this, but he's not that. No, it's everything. Everything all at once. And that goes without saying, that goes with saying that when a woman or a man is talking about their house to someone outside of their house, they label them that, and that's what you run with. So you look at this, you may walk out of your house and someone's looking at you a certain way. It's because of what they've been told. But now you guys just made up. But that person never forgets what they were told.
that's
They'll give
it.
you a fake smile and they'll say, "Oh yeah, everything's all good," but it's not, because they're gonna look at you like that. And if they tell 10 other people, those 10 other people are gonna say, "Oh yeah, he's a bad father. Oh, he's a bad husband. You know what he did? There you go, man. You know,
That's it.
you gotta learn
That's
from it.
it.
Yeah.
So
So yeah.
I got a question for the viewers here. Mama Rex is up here. Sarah's up here, and she's making some comments. She's agreeing with the panel here. But I got a question for you, Sarah, if you're listening there. I want you to tell us why you think men are considered bad fathers. Why black men are being labeled as bad fathers. I would really like to hear your response to that. So if you can type in the comment section here, why men are considered bad fathers. Why do you think black men are considered bad fathers? And
Yeah, shout out to Mama Rex. What's good?
yeah, man, shout out to Mama Rex, man. We love her
Shout
on this
out, Mama
program.
Rex.
She's on her square. She got something to say, y'all. She got something for the up and coming women that they need to
We
hear.
need to do a show together. We need to get together and do a show together, Mama Rex. So we
You hear
definitely
that,
need to,
Mama
we,
Rex?
we need to chop it up. We need to
Jesse
talk.
saying you need to reach out to him. Y'all need to get a show going. Y'all need to do a show. So y'all need to
Absolutely.
get that going. But answer that question for me, Mama Rex. Is it because that men do not want to marry these women that they're having babies with? Is it because that these black men do not want to marry these women, or wasn't planning on marrying these women, that these women are in turn hurt, maybe a little bitter, maybe they feel a little slighted, right? And they're like, you know what? You're a terrible father anyway. You're a bad father because you don't want to be around me and you only want to be around the child. You're a bad father because you don't want to marry me, the woman you slept with and made this baby with. You're a bad father. So I'm just curious to get a woman's perspective on that. If you can answer that question for me. But let me play this video. Actually, let me go to Walter real quick. Let me get Walter's response on that, and then we'll go to another video. So go ahead, Walter. Is it because of the trope that black men don't want to marry these women? You know, these modern black women? I mean, it's very hard to be an advocate for marriage in today's timetable. We know marriage is important in the bigger picture. We know the nuclear family is important in the bigger picture. But in today's society, the way they've attacked it, the way they've poked holes in it, the way they demonize marriage, even the way they're demonizing men and they're demonizing women, I just don't know. I just don't know. So I want to pose that question. Is it because that the brothers just don't want to marry these chicks?
No, that's part of the problem, but the issue is they're using that and making that the majority when that's not it. You know, they're just cherry picking, not just modern women, but society and different entities. They're using that type of man to represent all men. What I find when I do singles and couples ministry is that, yeah, you know, you have some of those men that's like, come on, man, you got to get together, marry that woman, blah, 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 right? But it's like, why are you with that guy in the first place? You know, let me check your friend zone. You got, 10 guys in your friend zone that want to marry you, but you're mad at that one Pookie and Ray Ray type that doesn't want to marry you? Oh, well, I got to do my preference, my preference. Well, you got a bad preference. Just admit that you have a bad preference. Because here's the thing. A lot of women that I deal with in singles and couples ministry, the reason why certain men don't want to marry them, or the reason why they're not getting married, is because a lot of their minds and mental state is stuck in a fairy tale. They want the man to fit this entity. Excuse me, I need to get some water. They want the man to fit this entity. They want the man to fit this movie. They want the man to fit their social media group that says what men are and how men should be. And but then yet they don't want to be challenged. They could challenge men all day, but they don't want men to challenge them. And so that's where the growth has to take place. Because if you're stuck in a fairy tale mindset, then you're going to only be attracted. Because when women say, oh, I only attract this type of man. No, that's a lie. You attract a variety of men, but you entertain a certain type of man. Mm-hmm. Why do you entertain that certain type of man? Because the Tyler Perry movies, whatever taught you to do this. Right. And then even when they get the fairy tale man that wants to take care of blah, blah, like Michael B. Jordan or whatever. Right. When they find out that they have other options, or they're just going to do what they want to do. So it's not that men don't want to marry women. It's that when men find out that they have to live up to a certain fairy tale, they're out. Or if you just chose a man.
You know what I'm noticing? If you're watching these Tyler Perry type movies, these movies today that try to show black love, they're always showing the black man as an effeminate, emotional male anyway. They're always showing the black male to be a simp, panderer, they're either they're either showing the black man to be a simp, they're showing the black man to be an effeminate male, they're showing the black male to be from the LGBTQ community, right? Or they're showing the black man as a villain, an abuser, a toxic masculinity, as they want to call it. Those are look in the movies. We're seen as gang members, thugs, right? We're putting right. Movies like Power, and look how black men aren't portrayed as smart and business savvy. we're portrayed as street smart. You know, we could move some weight, but they're never going to show a movie about a black man building a business and rising up, right? They're never going to show a black man owning things, owning the block, owning his neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? So those tropes are not out there about the black man. The black man is labeled a deadbeat father. A black man is labeled that most likely his kids are going to be bastards because he's going to be absent. The black man is labeled as more sexually promiscuous than the woman, more dumb. Right? We're not even labeled smart. We're labeled, a lot of us, they're saying we can't even read, right? They're saying we can't read, we can't speak, we can't be well spoken, right? We got to use slang or vernacular in our terminologies just to relate to people. You see what I'm saying? It's so bad. It's so freaking bad. But Sarah, let me go to what Sarah was saying. Let me go back to her comment because I asked her what does she think? And this is what she wrote. Because women are always wanting more. That's facts. They have an insatiable appetite. And they get accustomed very quickly. Some men try to please them and they are not happy. We can't please them because the moment you give them what they want, it's like the moment you give the child the toy, they're gonna wave it around and do this. And the moment they see another shiny object, they're going to drop that toy and go to that. And then they're going to want you to give them that. They don't care if it's in another child's hand. They don't care if it's in another adult's hand. They don't care if it's in another house that's not in your house. They're a child. They see a shiny object and they're like, give it to me. I want. And we as men are supposed to put our cape on and go get it. So she says, some men try to please them and they are not happy. I see lots of men who are good fathers, even if they are not married to the mother. I see the same thing. I see men trying to co-parent. I see men trying to be in their kids' lives. I see men fighting, paying hundreds and thousands of dollars and losing because they're trying to fight for their kids. I see them paying lawyers who are not even doing their job to properly protect and advocate for the men and see them and put the men in the position of power. I see the lawyers handing the keys to the woman and saying, abuse this man even more. You've already physically abused him. Now it's time for psychological and mental abuse on this man. Now it's time for you to hurt this man's pockets.
Now
it's time for you to destroy this man's livelihood. Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, if I may intervene. A lot of it is back to your original question. A lot of it is due to discipline. A woman is not going to discipline a child like a man will. A man can look a child straight in the eyes a certain way, and that child will know, like, there's something bad coming if I do this again. A woman can do something very, very similar, but from that man, you never hear it doesn't matter if you hear if it's a movie, if it's a show, if you're growing up, you were at a friend's house, you never hear, I'm telling your mom. Nah. But what do you hear? I'm telling your dad. When you hear I'm telling your dad, what do you see that child do? That child might cry. That child is going to cease to doing whatever he was doing. Might do something worse, but he's going to cease doing whatever he was doing because he knows dad might, back in the days, the hits, dad might hit a little bit harder than mom. Dad might holler a little bit louder than mom. Dad's punishments, they might be a little worse than mom, because the way it works is, for a little girl, a dad is putty in her hands, right? For a little boy, mom is putty in his hands. That dad is looked at a certain way, man. That dad is looked at a certain way. And if that dad is in the picture, a lot of respect is like top notch. Like this is what I demanded. I demanded. Women do the same. Women demand it too, but it's different from a father's point of view. It's different from a father's perspective. When dad comes in, it's like, oh, it's almost like oh, we gotta get ready. When mom comes in, it's like, it's something similar, but it's different, man. It's different.
Right.
It's a bit different.
I want to move the
Father
show
stands
along a
for
little
something.
bit. I
Say it
want to move
again.
the show along. I want to move the show along a
Oh,
little
go ahead,
bit.
by all means.
I want
Go ahead.
to go back to Walter. I want to let Walter finish his point because I know I cut him off there with my point when I brought up Mama Sarah. So I just wanted Walter to. Did you have a point that you wanted to finish? That you wanted to cap off about what we're talking about before I go to the video?
No, actually, I like what Jesse Calligraphy Jones was saying, and just real quick before you go to the video, everybody like and subscribe. And also, there's another side to what Calligraphy Jones is saying too, because have you noticed a dad's discipline is considered toxic and misogynistic and whatever, and the mom's discipline? People will joke about a mom hitting a kid with a board or hitting a kid with a shovel or slapping the black off a kid, right? But when you replace mom with dad, it's abuse, right? So it's like moms aren't capable. They don't see moms as capable of abusing kids in the general aspect. And so that's another stigma in the war that's going on. So I just want to put that other side to it, that because both sides are working interchangeably.
Okay, let me play a few of these quick videos real quick, and then we'll get back into discussion. Let's play these videos here.
Unpopular opinion: school, right? Some black men shouldn't be fathers.
But everybody else on the bus, right? Everybody else on the bus. I'm supposed to get out my bed and take you to school, right? You got me fucked up, dog. Like for real, nigga. I'm so sick of you, boy. Let me show you. Let me show you, nigga. Fuck your birthday, nigga. That's how you gonna fuck me? Let's see what anybody else do for you on your birthday, nigga. Let's see what somebody else gonna go spend a couple $100 on you, bro. Like I do, nigga. Every year, nigga. Every year, nigga, I buy you whatever the fuck you want, don't I, nigga? Don't I, nigga? Every year, nigga, you get whatever you want, bro. Anything you ask me for, I buy that shit, don't I? Anything you ask me for, nigga, I buy that shit, don't I? Don't I, bro? Yes. Every time you fucking ask me for something, nigga. Huh? You. Who bought this phone? You. Huh? That's how you play me? Nigga. That's how you play me, nigga? That's how you play me, nigga? You gonna keep getting in trouble in school, nigga? Keep getting my phone call, nigga? Huh? That's how you play me, boy? Huh? Nigga? Ain't nobody to play with, nigga. Fuck wrong with you, nigga? Nigga? That's how you play me, nigga? See what you get, nigga? For your birthday, nigga? Nothing!
I'm a rich A is here also. And we also have 5 other men who have multiple children with
I would love to attack this
different
one first,
women.
but
Nathaniel.
go ahead, by all means.
Stand up. How many children?
28.
How many women?
16.
Terrence.
4
children with
2 different women.
Yeah. Ryan.
Almost 5 children with 4.
Almost 5.
Yes,
now talk to me about an almost 5.
I have another baby due November 22nd.
So 4 children.
4 children.
How many mothers?
4 different women.
4 different women.
Yes.
And you got a baby on the way. Yes. Okay. And John?
6 baby mothers, 11 children.
And Jumani?
I have 6 children with 4 different women.
4 different women.
Yes, ma'am.
Now here's what I want us to get. That these men collectively have 87 children, that includes Jay, with 50 different women. That is 137 people who are impacted by choices and decisions that you've made. No heat, no judgment.
So let's get back into it, man. Y'all see those 2 videos? We have a video of a father. looks like he's mostly having an emotional breakdown in front of his child than anything. But he's trying to discipline his child, but he's kind of, talking to him like a black woman would talk to her son. If you look at it, the guy actually sounded like what a black woman would actually say to her son, who's emotional. And then you have a picture. Then you have the next video where they talk, where it goes more into accountability, where black men are standing up and they're saying, well, how many baby mothers do you have? They couldn't marry the first baby mother. They couldn't marry the second baby mother. They couldn't marry the third baby mother. They couldn't marry the fourth baby mother. They couldn't marry the fifth baby mother, but they can have all these children. And then I like how the black woman, how she said, you got all these men, over 87 babies in that room. From how many men did she say? 50-something men, 20-something men in the room. And they're having 87 babies between them. Who's more irresponsible now? Is it those men who collectively have 87 children? Or is it the mothers who know these brothers have different baby mamas, still sleep with them, still have kids, allow themselves to have 87 children by them? But the men are the terrible. And then we got Mama Sarah says, okay, y'all, Nick Cannon, good or bad, and because of his lifestyle? That's a good question. We'll tackle that. We'll answer that. Is Nick Cannon good or bad? We'll answer that. Big Walt. Let's go to you, man. I see you over there cheesing over there, man. Let's go to you, bro.
Should we go to Calligraphy Jones?
Yes. You want to go to?
I'm trying to get my giggles out first.
We go to Calligraphy Jones first, man.
Please,
Jesse, man. We got. I'm sorry for overlooking. I did kind of remember you saying you wanted to tackle this first. So you got the first video of the man trying to discipline his child, who's really disciplining him more like his mother would discipline him. That's what it looks like to me. Like, obviously, it looked to me like his mother destroyed some of his stuff when he did something bad. So he was just doing the same thing, and he was referring to his son, nigga, you gonna disrespect me, little nigga. So what are your opinions on that video, and then also the second video with all the baby fathers?
I was trying to chat with you, saying I couldn't see the second one. That's what I kept tagging it in there. Yeah,
you couldn't see it.
I didn't see anything. No.
All right, let me try to play that video.
I'm not sure the audience did that either.
All right, let me try to play that. No, I think the audience saw it.
Oh,
I don't know why
okay.
you didn't see it. Let me try to play that video one more time, and then we'll go from there. It's the second video, right? Not the video with yeah. Okay.
The embarrassing of the child. I've seen that one.
Okay, let me play this one.
Unpopular opinion.
Is here also, and we also have 5 other men who have multiple children with.
Can you see it now?
Different women. Nathaniel, stand up. How many children?
28.
How many women?
16.
Terrence.
4 children
with
2 different women.
Yeah. Ryan.
Almost 5 children with 4.
Almost 5.
Yes,
now talk to me about an almost 5.
I have another baby due November 22nd.
So 4 children.
4 children.
How many mothers?
4 different women.
4 different women.
Yes.
And you got a baby on the way. Yes. Okay. And John?
6 baby mothers, 11 children.
And Jumani?
I have 6 children with 4 different women.
4 different women.
Yes, ma'am.
Now here's what I want us to get. That these men collectively have 87 children, that includes Jay, with 50 different women. That is 137 people who are impacted by choices and decisions that you've made. No heat, no judgment.
Now, 50-something women slept with 16-something men, produced 87 children. And you got this woman shaking her head like this in the thing, like like it's a shame. You're shaming the wrong people. Yeah, it's shameful for those men, but it's even more shameful for those 57 odd women who decided to sleep with 16 men and share. They're in a throuple. They're in a polygamy relationship, whether they want to believe it or not, right? They're in a matriarchal community, as this first woman declared it, right? She said, we need to stop being down with the nuclear family, and we need to have a matriarchal, more communal society. Well, you have that already. We have that already. The United States, the Black community. I land my plane. Go ahead, Jesse. Sorry about that, man. Go ahead.
No, that's very, very deep, man. Because that definitely applies to me. In all honesty, with all integrity, too. One thing I will say, the strongest point where I've been like on the edge of my seat, like me, choose me, is never, ever, ever, ever embarrass your child on this media. Never embarrass them. That is the worst bully tactic. Now you're looked at as an enemy, and you might not even know it. You're looked at as an enemy. That child will never, ever be the same. He'll never be the same. Yeah, he'll stop doing, or she'll stop doing whatever it is that you want it to stop. But are they going to get better? No. Their confidence is shot. Their loyalty to happiness is shot. The way they respect you is shot. Everything is now all acting. They're gonna try to have to fit. They're gonna try their best to fit into the same type person that you've seen before, so you can stop asking what's wrong. It's gonna go bad. It's gonna go terribly wrong. Never embarrass your child on this media. Never do it. You look just like the student to it. You seem like the student to his left, the student to his right, the student that's waiting for him in the restroom or waiting for her in the restroom, the student that's waiting for them after school. That's exactly what you come off as. And you just made it so much easier for everybody, absolutely everybody, to point and say, look what your dad did. Look at how your house looks. Look at how it's going to go bad. That's what happens to every child. We just never hear about them again. We never hear about them again.
Mama Sarah says, Jesse, you are so right.
Fathers hitting their kids. Now, I've seen videos where fathers were knocking their kids out to teach them a lesson. Knocking your child out. What happens from there is that whole that form of any type of leadership is shot. That child is always going to have to defend themselves. Always have to defend themselves. They're any kind of friends that they have, this will always be brought up. It's always like a up one on someone. They're always going to have that upper hand. Like, okay, well, I remember when your mom did.
What you're saying is, don't help the kids in the neighborhood roast your kid.
Worse than roast.
It's worse.
Because that roasting, that kid is going to feel like he's cornered and he's going to attack. And when he attacks, what happens? Now he got to come see you again, because now he's fighting in school because of you, and he can't say because of you. He can't. He won't. It's gonna always be for other reasons. It's gonna go bad, man. That's the worst thing you could possibly ever do, is embarrass your child in front of someone else like that, man. The worst thing
you do is embarrass your child, man.
I mean, yeah, all you got to do is put yourself in. It's the worst thing, man. That's the most pain, the most mental pain ever, and they'll never be the same. That child right there will never be the same. As soon as his friends see it, it's not just a regular dad's breaking everything again. No, it's your dad broke that. You had that. You messed that up.
So let me ask you this question, Calligraphy Jones. What do you think about the multiple baby fathers? What do you think about the room of the men with 87 children?
I would have to,
Go ahead.
I would have to say I agree with you, and I am definitely in that boat. I have three. I have three of my children's mothers. I don't use the term baby mother, but I will say I have three I have three women that are my children's mothers, and yes, you know
You're in a
what
throuple.
the I'll tell you what everyone will say in their defense. Everyone will say, well, you know, you just love who you love, but it's not that. It's not like that. No, it's not, because at any time I could have said, you know what, whether I snipped it, got it snipped, or whether I was just more responsible, and I just wasn't, and that's what it came down to.
Did you know any of those women before you got them pregnant that they weren't marriage material?
Yes, I would have to say. So. I would have to say. I
Did
would have to
those
say
women
one definitely. One definitely.
did
Yes.
those women did those women look at you and say, and before they laid down with you and thought, this man is not marriage material either?
No. Oh, no, I don't think so.
So they all believed you were marriage material and that you would be the father of their baby and that you would one day marry them.
I was told that. Yes, definitely.
They all believed you wanted to marry them.
They all no. They didn't believe that I wanted to marry them. They thought I was marriage material. There's a difference.
They thought you were married. So what made them think you were married? Were you marriage material?
I would have to say, absolutely. I'm always marriage material. I can be a faithful man. I can be a man that cheats. I can be a man that I'm a very responsible man.
What reasons did they give?
Huh?
What reasons did they give? What was their reasons?
For what? The reasons to
Yeah, what reasons? What was their reasons for saying you was marriage material? I'm not saying you was or wasn't or whatever, but I just want to know their reasons.
Their reasons were that I'm a responsible man. Their reasons were because I'm a good father, and they believe that, you know, that if they had a child by me, I would.
So what was it with them that you saw in them that you said, you know what, I can't marry this one, and then you had another one that said, I can't marry this one?
Oh, my apologies.
What was it? What was it in them that you saw in them that you couldn't wife them? Because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the stigma of fathers being labeled bad fathers.
I would have to say arguments getting loud. I would have to say it was all different. It was different situations.
Could you control any of these women? Would you say these women were submissive, or they listened to you, or they cooperated with you, or if you had a suggestion about how you wanted to raise your child, they would go along with that? Were these women that were easily that you can get along with and actually parent with them?
One definitely was submissive.
Okay.
I would have to say was definitely submissive. The other two, not so much. No.
So why didn't you marry that one? And I'm not trying to make it about you, but I'm just trying to. I'm trying to help. It goes in good with the video.
Yeah, of course.
Like, of course. Why didn't you, if that one was submissive, right? The one of them. Why didn't you marry her? Were you too young? Were you not ready for marriage? Did you not want to be married? What was it that you that said, you know what, hey man, I just want to co-parent with you, but I don't want to marry, knowing that the best chance for your child to be raised, I mean, we can raise children, but the best environment is mother and father. What made you decide, maybe with the one that you could cooperate with, that you thought, nah, I'm not getting married?
I would have to say this. In that situation with that one, anyone that you are intertwined with, anyone that you are involved with, that you consider your significant other, that person has to believe in you as though you believe in them. Anyone that I'm in a relationship with, I will put in front of me, as long as they put me in front of them. And what happened was this woman, she didn't believe in me enough as I believed in her. It wasn't my support for her wasn't reciprocated. She loved me a great deal, but it wasn't reciprocated, and that hurt me at the time. I didn't. That really injured me because I
Was
believed in her.
that was enough to say I don't want to marry you, and that was enough to say even though you had a child by her that you didn't want to raise that you didn't want to, marry her and raise the child together. That was because she didn't believe in you. That was enough.
That was enough for me to slowly fall out of love. Yes, it was.
Okay.
Because
I agree with that, man. I agree with that, man, because I was once married and I wanted to have kids with my first wife, and when I saw that she didn't believe in me, and when I saw that she didn't believe in me, and when she didn't value my opinion no longer, that's when I knew that I couldn't stay with this woman.
Exactly.
That's when I knew I couldn't have kids with this woman.
Exactly.
I was already married to her, right? But that's when I knew that, hey, man, that this is bringing a child into this is only going to get bad because now I'm going to have to combat with her how to raise my child.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to have to battle for dominance over whose structure is more important in the child's life.
I would have to say, you know what? Another thing is, I didn't live, and I wouldn't say a fairy tale. I would have to say that we didn't do things the way they were supposed to be done. So neither one of my children were planned. I'll be honest with you. They were not.
Okay, we're losing you a little bit. I don't know if you went under a tunnel, but we just lost some of your connection here. I mean, this is good, man. Hey, man, this is good, man, because this is like, one of these days, man, I'm gonna have to get you on the podcast, man. And I just want to just man, if you don't mind, I would like to just interview and just do a deep dive, man. Just do a deep dive because a lot of brothers. I mean, matter of fact, we won't even do it on the YouTube. We'll do it on the Patreon. Because I want brothers who really want to get that help and really want to understand. I want them to see themselves in you. I want them to see themselves even in me, even in a Walter. And I want them to say, okay, how could I have made a decision like a Walter or a Moxie or even a Jesse Collective Jones? How can I learn from the decision that Jesse has made? And we see Big Walt is a dad for real. He got the foot in his face, and he's not even flinching. The brother's not even flinching here. He's just like, I love it, man. But it's
yeah, it's only because she's not feeling well right now, and
I love
she likes rubbing her toe on my ear for some strange reason that makes her feel better. So,
man, you know what though, man? But it makes you, I don't know, man. It makes you human, Walt. Not that you're not human. It just makes you more of a teddy bear character, man. Like we got to get a shirt with Big Walt as a teddy bear, man. That's now that's now what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna get some merchandise, put Big Walt on the merchandise, and make him this big old teddy bear, and we're gonna put 2 feet on the side of his ears, man, on this shirt, man. 2 feet on the side of his ear, man. I mean, he's a good. You're right. I mean, you're right, Mama Sarah. This is a good dad right here. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Oh, thanks, Mama Sarah.
I don't know any bad fathers. Me personally, I've never ran into one.
Yeah.
If I run into a father who's not in his child's life, I'm hearing them saying, I want to be in my child's life. If I run into a father who is in their child's life, I'm hearing them saying, man, it's the best thing in the world. I don't know any bad fathers. I know a lot of single fathers.
And I get to see both sides of it
in their child's life. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like I get to see both sides of it. I mean, there are men like that out there that want to do their hustling, like, and you ask them, well, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a hustler. And then I asked the woman, like, why did you have a kid with him? But like, I mean, they're out there, but for the most part, I see what you see as well. Like, there's so many dads that want to be in their life, but in their child's life, but they're expected to follow some type of social stigma or social guideline or some entity guideline or something selfish with the woman, and it's insane. With the first video, that guy, I would say background, because I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just guessing, but maybe that guy didn't have the father that he needed. And like you said, maybe he's acting out like that with his son because he was never sat down with a stoic father who could say, hey, it's okay to scare your kid a little bit, but you don't need to go to a tantrum to discipline your kid. That's why we need more of the James Amoses and the Carl Winslows and the Uncle Phils, and because they knew how to constructively scare a kid if that kid needed it, because each kid is differently, right? So, but now I'm guessing that father in that first video, he might have came from a single mother household, and he's like, man, I'm just doing it as I go along. Because I talk to those fathers as well. He's like, you know what? I'm just trying to do what I think a man needs to do when you talk to them. And then I say, okay, well, why don't you try this? Instead of embarrassing that kid, like Calligraphy Jones was saying, because that's off code. That's off God code. Like, men, we don't embarrass our wives and children publicly like that. That's just off code. As a man, you're supposed to teach your household, but it's supposed to be within the privacy of your household. And that's the way I was raised. And so when you're not doing that and you're putting it on social media, that is like some busy woman type stuff that he probably learned. So I would say, hey, how about instead of breaking his phone, put his phone on ice. Let him earn it back like a man. He messed up, but show him how to get back up like a man, right? With his phone broken, he has nothing to aim for or get better for. Oh, my phone is broken, so why do I need to get better, right? And without rambling, I'll go because there's so much to unpack.
No, man, you're saying it right. You're saying it right, man. What I was gonna say is, man, that's perfect what you're talking about, man. That's perfect what you're saying there. Why go out and pay this money for an Xbox, for a phone, it looked like he bought the kid a laptop. He could have used that for school,
right?
And then you go and you break your own stuff, and now the child is just angry and emotional and mad because you've taken something away from them that was considered his, and he doesn't understand that there's no understanding for him. There's no understanding saying, okay, how can I work back? How can I earn it back? And I agree with that. He should have put it on ice, put it up somewhere, hid it from the child. Say this, now you have to go through these steps to get these phones back. This is how you come back and this is how you become a man and get your stuff back.
Right. And that kid would have had a super feeling of accomplishment if he would have got back up, dusted himself off like men are taught, and go earn that. Imagine what he learns by life from doing that. Imagine how that would transfer to his adulthood. So, but it's hard when fathers aren't raised to teach their kids like that. When fathers are. So I'm interested in what background did he come from? Because even if that guy's dad was there, that guy's dad was probably some drunk or some whatever that the woman chose, and that's how he had to watch. So he probably had a bad example of a father and a mother, even if the father was there, And that takes me to the second video. It's funny how they put men on the spectrum. They'll never line up women like that.
I mean, where were the 57 women? I mean, they should have brought the baby mamas with them.
Right.
I think that would have been even more powerful. So they could see how many irresponsible women there are to a few irresponsible men.
But you got to remember, the women and the children are protected now by the people who defeated the men, right? So just like how you can't talk about, just like how black men can't talk about the Jays black men can't talk about women either, right? Or you'll face a certain stigma because how about lining, like you said, how about lining up all those women? Okay, what is the body count of all those women? What
What
is
is
the
the
body
body count?
count? Yeah, what is the body count of all those women? How many men do all of those women have in the friend zone? Right?
I
Women
agree.
control
I agree.
access to sex. Or what'd you say, Calligraphy?
He said he
No, I
agreed.
said
He
I
said
agree.
he's agreed.
I agree with
Oh,
you.
for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and women control access to sex more than men. And so I want to know because this is what I do when I do singles and couples ministry. I go over people's houses. I'll ask who your baby daddy is. I'll look up your baby daddy on your baby's dad on social media and whatnot. I'll even have a conversation with your baby's dad. They don't want that because then I'll ask, wait a minute, your baby's dad, he hasn't had a job in how long? Well, your baby's daddy been to jail 3 times in a row, and and
Your
hasn't
baby
established.
daddy's a scammer. Your baby daddy's a drug dealer, right? Your baby daddy scams people, and you're okay with that, and you knew about it, and you prefer. Matter of fact, you're looking for scammers. You think scammers are the best men because they have all this money, right? So you picking all these scammers and these drug dealers and these violent men who beat who I mean I don't want to who try to I don't want to, I gotta say it right for the algorithm. I'm about to get this thing yellow. I'm about to get this thing with a yellow check mark instead of a green. But you know what I'm trying to say, man. It's like they're living in the hood. They're dating in the hood. They're picking the scum of the hood. Right? The most popular drug dealers in the hood. Right? The most popular scammers in the hood. The most popular pretty boy Mac player in the hood. Excuse me, I can't even get. I'm about to drink some water in a minute.
Well, I'll say this.
Oh
Remember the post from that young lady that I showed you where she was saying, "Oh, I probably should have been with a preacher or something like that, guy in church, but I'm addicted to hood dudes." Remember when I showed you that? So they know what they're doing. The problem is when it's up into their face. Like now it's like, I don't want to get put on the forefront. We need to figure out a way to blast these men. And so the way that they lined up those men on the pedestal like that and said, how many children do you have? Is disrespectful. Now it's disrespectful and a double standard. And the reason why I'm saying it is because you will not see any show lining up women like that. And that takes me into my last point, and I'll shut up. Nick Cannon, is he a bad father or not? I think Nick Cannon is a great father. However, I disagree with his method for building an empire because I feel like if you're going to build an empire, everybody needs to be together. You don't just go sleep with somebody and make kids and then do what you want to do and mess up and then
so where Nick
find
Cannon went
somebody else.
wrong is Nick Cannon should have brought them all in under the same roof, all 15,
Right.
20 of them women, and put them under the same roof and have all the kids raised together.
Right, and that's my issue. If you're going to do something like that, which I don't necessarily agree with, but if you're going to do something like that and you got the money for it, then there should be some kind of unity, some kind of empire going on.
Why not buy a plantation? Why not buy a 50-room mansion and put all your kids up in there? Have a kitchen on every floor, or have like multiple kitchens in that thing, so nobody, so everybody can cook and clean, and man, do something like that. I mean, that brother Nick Cannon is in a polyamorous throuple, whatever type of that. I don't. Man, let me tell you something. I'll be honest with you. I don't have a problem with polygamous lifestyle. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a clever tactic to use to skip the line, to get ahead quickly, especially if you know how to utilize the polyamorous relationship where you guys are all making money, right? It can help you get into the 100,000-aire, millionaire status quicker. It can help you, it's the beginning of wealth. It can help you build wealth quicker. That's what I see it for. If you're trying to use it to build wealth and build an empire, I'm for that. I can see where polygamy, especially for the Black community, because we're so far behind in wealth. There's so many of our kids being raised out of wedlock, right? Not married, not under the same roof, not with a father figure, not with structure in the home, right? They're in a matriarchal communal society. They're in an emotional, underdeveloped society. That's how they're being raised by underdeveloped human beings at this point, who are stuck in something called arrested development. But let me play some more of these videos real quick, and then we're going to try to tailor this thing down and wind it down. We're 120 in, and it's time to curve this thing off. But I want to play a few more videos that I thought were pertinent and that made sense to the situation. This one's a pretty long one, but I think it's a good one. So let me see if we can play this one here.
It's happening. So the manosphere can say what they'd like about Black women kicking Black men out of the government-owned housing that they occupied, and this somehow snowballing into the single mother epidemic we have now. But Black men's willingness to abandon their families is well documented by sociologists, psychologists, and family courthouses across the nation.
I ain't thinking about holding up for no sex, my man. If a girl, she get having a baby, carrying a baby, hey, that's on her. I'm not going to stop my pleasures because of another woman.
No, it doesn't look like going to the store for a pack of cigarettes and not returning like it did throughout the 60s and before that. And it doesn't look like vehement denial of paternity like it did in the 70s and 80s. Today, it looks like infidelity, picking unnecessary fights, and frequent absenteeism shortly after pregnancy until the relationship becomes untenable. A coward's way of bowing out of his responsibilities. We could blame this on poverty and discrimination, but other poor and marginalized groups did not have a desertion problem in the 1960s. In fact, some had marriage rates that were better than their white counterparts. This isn't a problem in other communities because other communities put the responsibility of keeping a family together on its men, not its women.
Because a man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
And instead of acknowledging that many Black men frequently bail on responsibilities in relationships with women they get pregnant, the manosphere regresses to their choose better mantra, or simply whines about being undermined by women and the welfare system for being third-place providers in the households that they created. It should be no surprise that a group of men who are never held responsible for anything have a hard time being responsible for anything. This entire community is to blame for this pathology. Black fathers rarely set good examples of manhood for their sons to emulate, and single Black mothers rarely prioritize pushing their sons to be providers for the women that they date. Not only do these Black women often have a negative view of other Black women, often a projection of their low self-image, but the fear that these pseudo-husbands of theirs will grow up and leave them to take care of these other women is ever present. We are all complicit in the casual emasculation of low expectations of Black men, and no one wants to say that they are doing poorly and they need to do better, lest they decide to abandon the community entirely, which they always threaten to do.
Okay, now that was a video. I kind of should have brought this up in the beginning, but I thought it'd be better if we close out with something like this. I had some more videos. We're not going to be able to show them, but this video was an attack against the manosphere, and was an attack against why Black women are labeling Black men as bad fathers. According to this woman, it's still all the man's fault. And let me say this. I do kind of agree with that mantra that it all falls on the man's back at the end of the day. And society does. If society fails, it will be because the men are weak. If relationships fail, in the bigger spectrum of things, we have to put it on the man because the man wasn't strong enough to get that woman in line. Now, we know that modern women are unruly. We know that modern men have set it up in a way to where modern women the laws are on her side. The laws are on her side. You can't touch a woman. You go to jail. You get Me Too'd. You raise your voice at a woman. Well, you're overbearing. You're a bully, right? You scared her. There's so many things that men are not allowed to do to get our women back in line and back to the fold. But I still have to say, as men, we are the solution makers. We are the ones that make things right. So as men, we have to take back the narrative, right? We have to take back the narrative. We have to start telling our own stories. We have to disavow and disband the media, right? We have to reject all the media's tropes of black men and black women. And as black men, we have to start telling our own stories, telling our own truths, explaining to the masses what's really going on, and not allowing the mainstream media, who I deem as they're our enemy. Let's be real, they're our enemy. And they're using war tactics to keep us at the bottom. They're using shame, insults, guilt, and I'm white because I say so. It's right because I'm white. That's what they're using in the media. It's right because I'm white. And if you don't get down with the it's right because I'm white, they come with the shame, insults, guilt. And they're going to use your own women against you. They're going to use your own men against you. They're going to use simps and panders to corner you. They're going to use women to say things like, there's no good black men and we need to divest. So we have to be very, 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 very careful of the narrative that's being spun about us, spun about black men. I don't have any children, but these men here on the panel do. I just happen to be raised by a fantastic, wonderful black man, my father, who taught me a lot, and I'm very thankful for that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was raised, that was my role model. My dad is my role model. I don't know about, I don't look up to celebrities. I've never have. I've been around tons of celebrities, and I've never once been a fan. You won't, matter of fact, you can go check my social media, and you'll probably feel the way my social media looks like, I don't know any celebrities because I don't have any pictures with them. But I can guarantee you there's celebrities out there who know my name. And they be like, what's up, Max? They know me. I know them. I know their families. But I'm never going to be a fan of them. Matter of fact, they should be a fan of me. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, that subscribe bell, that notification, that share, that like button, and become a fan to the show. Because we over here making differences. Now I'm gonna land my plane there, and I'm gonna give my my co-hosts a chance. Walter Dowling and Jesse Jones to close out. Walter, go ahead and close us out, and then we're gonna let Jesse get the last words in, man.
Yeah, well, you said it all. I mean, it's about control, and so media control. Like, we need to have a representative, celebrity representative, or something, because that's really what it boils down to. Certain entities, certain women, even the government is trying to make men look a certain way to match, so that they can make certain statistics, because they're going to keep on pushing that and putting certain men on the pedestal on their platforms and stuff like that, in order to match narrative, in order to match the statistics that they want to make up, in order to match their
In order to justify why black men keep going to prison, they got to keep pushing out these stereotypes. They got to keep filling up the prisons because the prisons are money. Let me tell you something. They do not want the prisons to be empty.
Right.
Prisons are big money. They make money. They make money off of black shame. They make money off of black disparity, right? They make money off of unlucky black people, off of black trauma. They make money off this. It's a money grab. And they're not gonna all of a sudden start putting the dominant society behind bars. They want to use you 40 million black bodies to do that.
Unlucky and uneducated as well.
That's what they
want. When I say uneducated, I am talking about the educated women as well, because you might be educated in one area, but you can be not too bright in another.
Man, so Jesse had to fall off. I should have brought him up first. I didn't know he had to he had to go so quickly, so he won't be able to give his final words, man. But we already know where that brother stands, man. That's a solid brother right there. These are both powerful men, good fathers, accountable men. These are men that I would conspire with if I have a problem. You know, y'all like that word conspire. Whenever two or more together, it's a conspiracy, right?
Yes.
But we're conspiring for the good of the black man and the well-being of our community, and for the further advancement of our children and unborn children. If you're talking about me, because I plan on being a father one day too.
Nice.
But I just want to say this before we close up out, man. Hey, man, Walter, thank you, man, for being on the show again, man. Thank you for being a co-host. Thank you for joining the program and joining this channel, man, and bringing so much value to this channel, bro. We really, really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, man. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, no worries. I just wanted to I need like 10 seconds just to finish my.
Go ahead.
My point, though, that this is the last thing I want to say, to close out what I was saying. And yeah, I appreciate being on the show as well. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the viewers. I appreciate all the guests that came on, Mama Sarah, Calligraphy Jones. But I just want to take 10 seconds to say this. You see my social media page. You see what I do. I take care of my daughter. My daughter's with me a lot. I'm taking her to Magic Mountain, Disneyland. We doing activities, everything, right? But when I get into these groups on social media and blah blah blah, everybody's like, "Oh, do you have a daughter? Oh, you must be a bad father. You're saying this on social media about women and whatnot." And so on social media, they see me as a father that's teaching his daughter wrong, father that's not there, or somebody that some even don't even think I have a daughter. So I just wanted to say that, and so you guys can see the contrast between how men are, how I really am, how men really are, versus how society's putting it out there.
Hey, and that's well said, man. And you know what, man? Let me tell you something. There's a lot of good fathers out there who are not getting the proper respect, the proper props from other men and women in the community, man. And we got to do better, man. We got to do better at rewarding those who are doing good in the community and shaming the ones who are unlucky, uneducated, doing terrible. We got to do a better job at saying, hey, man, you got to do better, because you make me look bad. I make you look good, but you are making me look bad. And I'll end on that note, man. This is the Too Much Moxie podcast. I'm your humble host. We got the big Walter Downing as a co-host in the house. We had Jesse Calligraphy Jones join us on the panel. And before we go, man, I want to leave y'all with this, man. As men, we never bow down and we never give up. Peace. Deuces.
Yeah, I feel like I joined